What's going on, guys? It's Colin here for NextGenTactics, and today I'm bringing you some Bad Company 2 gameplay. This is a match played the other night. It is Conquest on Panama Canal, and initially I just hop in a tank with a buddy and I'm playing the engineer role. But I'm not here to talk about Battlefield Bad Company 2 right now. What I want to discuss is some more Battlefield 3, and earlier this week, the second episode of the Fault Line series of trailers was released. It was entitled Good Effect on Target, and in that little trailer, you have a group of Marines heading up to a rooftop to eliminate an enemy sniper. And I gotta tell you, once again, the visuals and the sound and just everything involved are absolutely incredible. And it's kind of slow paced, like they're slowly trying to work their way across a rooftop and blast a sniper out of his position where he's dug in on a building across the way. And you kind of get the hint that they fire an RPG in there and the building's going to collapse. So, they're showing off aspects of the Frostbite 2.0 engine as they go here, but the trailer's absolutely amazing, and every time that they put one of these out, they're absolutely riveting for me. Like, I realize I'm already a Battlefield 3 fanboy, so you're not getting exactly an unbiased opinion here, but it looks amazing, and the first episode was called A Bad Part of Town, so I'm going to put a link to both of those in the description. So if you haven't seen those already, you must go check them out now, and I'm sure many of you have already seen them, but what I'd encourage you to do, if you haven't, is don't watch the video in 360p. If you're able, crank up the resolution to at least 480p and listen through a headset, because the audio is absolutely phenomenal. It just gives you goosebumps, and I'm really digging the Battlefield 3 theme music. It's so simple, but it fits so well. So anyway, check it out. 480p with headset. I think you'll be pretty impressed. And on that note, actually, Bad Company 2 was awarded a BAFTA award for video games for outstanding use of audio. So that was handed out earlier this week, and I think that it's absolutely warranted. And audio is something that DICE do extremely well, and certainly not the only thing they do extremely well. But one of the things that really blew me away about Bad Company 2 and then the Medal of Honor multiplayer was the sound design. And I'm always blown away by that, and the sound in these trailers that have been released for Battlefield 3 are taking it to yet another level. So you definitely have to check that out, and props to DICE for winning the BAFTA Video Game Award for excellent use of audio. So anyway, that just gets me more and more pumped for Battlefield 3. And what I'm probably going to do is release a weekly video here on NextGenTactics as new information becomes available on Battlefield 3. So look forward to those. I'm keeping track on what's happening and what the latest is, and I know that Guns for Hire is also extremely excited for Battlefield 3. For me, it's the FPS that I'm most looking forward to this year. I'm going to digress for a second and just give a quick tip for tank gunners. You are on the lookout for anti-tank mines as well, so I'm going to pick off a couple enemies, but I had spotted some AT mines, so I tell the driver to hold up so I can blast that, and we can try and make a move across the river, although I think we might lose the tank right here. Anyway, but back to Battlefield 3. So the game looks visually stunning. Obviously, we're seeing PC footage right now, so that's going to be at a higher frame rate than what's going to be released on consoles, and as I said before, I will be getting this game for PC. First step will be to get a gaming PC, but I will be doing that long before Battlefield 3 comes out, so that I'm not kind of starting from scratch on the PC, but I'll also be getting it for console, and I'm sure it's going to be a beautiful game. On PC, it's going to be a beautiful game on console, and what I would suspect, although I haven't heard this confirmed yet, is that, because of the player limitation on the console, there will probably be some scaling done to the maps. So, if that isn't confirmed prior to the game's release, I will be doing a full compare and contrast for you guys between the PC and the console, how the game plays, looks and feels, and all of that good stuff. So, I'm going to be playing this one like crazy. Now, I realized that I picked up Medal of Honor earlier this week, and I did a quick first impressions video. Sorry about that. During quality control and rewatching this video, I realized I just said Medal of Honor. I'm actually talking about Homefront. Alright, sorry about the break in the action. Let's get back to the commentary. It wasn't all that well received, and my first impressions were kind of tempered by the fact that I had a hard time getting games. I got in a couple of games that are extremely laggy, and I'm going to give that another play this weekend. I'm looking for something to hold me over until Battlefield 3, although I'm still having fun hopping on Bad Company 2, so it's nice to have a bit of a distraction from time to time, so that when I go back to Bad Company 2, it still feels fresh and fun. So this is a game I got, I think, on the weekend, and I was actually playing, I'd taken my Xbox with me because we went to visit my parents. And no, I'm not a college kid going back to visit my folks, but we wanted to take both of our daughters down to visit their grandparents, and as of such, that was sort of the only opportunity I was going to have to game for a little while, because they like getting up with our 3-year-old daughter. Well, she's almost 3. Right here, I kind of like this solo cap. I picked off that guy, and Halo jumped this medic across the way, and then I spot a third guy, and he's trying to duck behind cover and noob tube me, so I decided all's fair. I decided to pull out the RPG and take him down, so that went over pretty well. Got the base cap. I was pretty pleased with that. So this is a pretty fun game. I've cut out quite a bit of it. It wound up being like a 20-minute match. But anyway, I was playing on not my TV. I was playing on my dad's TV, which is smaller, and I had actually forgotten to take my Xbox controller with me, so I had to go pick up a new controller, and I normally play with FPS Freaks on my right thumbstick, so I didn't have that, so my accuracy was a little bit wonky, and many of you like to remark on the fact that my aim's bad anyway, and you're right, but in this game it was even worse than normal, so forgive me for that. But anyway, it was a good game, had fun. I'm using the Scar L carbine with a red dot. Normally I'd run the iron sights on that, but just because I didn't have the my FPS Freak on, I was having a hell of a hard time getting on target, so I slapped a red dot on this and actually quite liked it. So I'd run this setup a few times before, but usually I run the iron sights on the Scar L, and you'll see a couple of times I run out of ammo, so I would have preferred to have another spec other than optics, but I figured I'd make an adjustment and try and get some kills, and it worked out pretty well. Now, the other cool thing to note this week was that Josh Olin, who's the Treyarch community manager, remarked on how visually amazing the Frostbite 2.0 engine is. So I think that it's going to be an interesting competition this fall between Call of Duty, who's the market leader, obviously, in the FPS genre, and DICE to see how Battlefield 3 holds up. Now, I personally feel that Bad Company 2 was a more, a deeper shooter. It had more to offer, and obviously, based on the videos that I'm posting, I'm a huge Battlefield Bad Company 2 fan over Call of Duty. Black Ops, which I only played for a couple of weeks, but, obviously the sales numbers don't agree with me on that. Black Ops destroyed previous records, and Bad Company 2 wound up, having a bit of a lull where people played it for a while and then, it, got a little bit disengaged, and I think that part of the problem was that DICE didn't expect the title to do that well, so they didn't have a plan in place to deliver new content earlier on. So it was the fall before actual brand new maps were made available, and in reading some of the interviews with the devs at DICE, they're not going to make that same mistake again with Battlefield 3. The intent is to try and keep people playing this game, and I really look forward to seeing what kind of content that's going to mean. So hopefully, it's a steady stream of new, fresh content that they keep bringing into the game. That for me will make it extremely interesting. And I mean, Bad Company 2's held my interest for over a year now, and I realize that I haven't played this as much as some other folks over the course of that year, obviously because of family and personal life commitments, but for a game to hold my attention for that long, that's pretty cool, and I would have really liked to have seen additional downloadable content with the VIP map pack program, say that 3 times fast. They essentially just expanded existing maps to have them playable on different game types. And, that was cool. It brought some new aspects to the game, but I also appreciate how large the maps are. So map design, one Battlefield map is sometimes the equivalent of like 5 Call of Duty maps in size and scope. So, to simply crank out new maps isn't as easy as it sounds. But I would have liked to have seen some new and interesting content coming out sooner than later. And there was a bit of a gap in there where I suspect the team was working on developing the Medal of Honor multiplayer. So it would appear that Bad Company 2 and Medal of Honor have sort of been experiments for the Frostbite engine that are going to culminate in Battlefield 3. So There were great things about both games. Medal of Honor wasn't, I think it was, from DICE's perspective, a commercial success, but, I don't think it was as critically acclaimed, and it wasn't, as Gunn said, embraced by the community. And there was a number of reasons for that, but when it came right down to the sound design and the actual mechanics of the gameplay, I really liked it. I had issues with map design, spawn systems, and that sort of thing. So Medal of Honor was... My assessment on that was kind of like Homefront. It had some really great ideas in there. Just the execution left me wanting more. And with Medal of Honor, it has a very gritty, realistic feel. It was very immersive. So for some of those things to fall short in my eyes was very disappointing. Whereas Homefront, it's not a visually beautiful shooter, not to the extent of some of the other games on the market right now. It's not the most polished, and there's been some server issues. But I'm finding that if I take the game less seriously, then I just have fun playing it. Now, I like, in my first-person shooters, I like a very immersive experience with beautiful graphics and amazing audio and good gameplay. So I want everything out of a game, and I think that Battlefield 3 is going to be a game that offers that. So that's my opinion, guys, and I look forward to hearing what you think, and what are you looking forward to in Battlefield 3. And yeah, we won the game. I know I haven't talked too much about what I was up to during that game, but it was a decent score in the end. 29-8, I think. Took down the ace pin, which is primarily from points racked up repairing tanks, playing my engineer kit. Cheers, guys. We'll talk soon.
Hey guys, we now have our own website. Actually, we've always had our own website, but why not follow us on there? There you'll find all our videos conveniently sorted into playlists by game, as well as videos from many other directors that are part of our NGT network.